What's up, guys? Coming here today with an NBA Cup championship game and a full slate of college basketball action here on Tuesday, December 16th. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under on each game, and I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock, so slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know your thing in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Guys, yesterday we swept the board, a perfect 6-0, a great Monday out there. We cashed the Steelers -3. It was a 28-15 win there for Pittsburgh. Miami continues to struggle there in the cold. A-Chain did have a pretty good game. Tua really didn't get used that much, or maybe struggled a little bit. Could be a combination there early on. His numbers do look okay throughout the course of the entire game, but early on, they weren't using him too much, and to be honest, the outcome of this game never really felt that much in doubt. Felt like the Steelers were pretty much large and in charge for the entire thing. We had Tua under 28.5 passing attempts, and this one got insanely close down the stretch. Looked like it was a lock there. Tua had like 10 passing attempts through the first couple quarters, I think, and eventually finishes the game with 28. So the hook comes in on our favor. We'll definitely take the win on that one. On the NBA side, we had the Jazz +1.5. They win that game 140-133. In overtime. They spoil a 42-point game there from Cooper Flagg. Markkanen, Filipowski, and Keontae George all going nuts there for Utah and helping them rally and get the win there in OT. We also had the Nuggets -1.5. That was a crazy game. A bunch of bad calls going both ways down the stretch. In the end, the shot making and playmaking of Jamal Murray and Jokic helped them come out on top in this one. You can really tell that Rockets team does kind of, need to find a real point guard if they want to have the kind of success they are aiming to have there in the postseason. We cashed the Pistons +1.5 as our dog today. A gutsy 112-105 win there from Detroit. They held off the Celtics, and big nights from both Derek White and Jaylen Brown. Cade was a monster despite some foul trouble, and Javonte Green knocked down some very big buckets there down the stretch. So they'll definitely take that one. We also cashed our lock of the day. That was the Steelers on the money line. So a perfect 6-0 day out there. We will definitely take it. Feels really, really nice to come away with this sweep. We also have a lot of good stuff cooking over there on the premium side. We'll break all of that down here in just a bit. A little bit spoiler alert here. The college basketball picks are now on a 4-0 run over the last 2 days. So definitely want to consider getting over there and checking out the premium stuff at stumpthespread.com. Also, guys, I've been mentioning this nearly enough. Get over there if you're trying to buy a Stump the Spread hoodie for Christmas. We have Stump the Spread hoodies for sale now over on the main site. But let's go ahead and dive in. First up, we're going to go ahead and look at that NBA stuff. We're going to look at the NBA Cup game here between the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Knicks. Now, this is the NBA Cup championship. Crazy game there from the Spurs their last time out as they took down the Thunder. Looked like pretty easy work the round before that when they took down the Lakers. But taking down the Thunder, that was a bit of an upset. We were on the Spurs +9 in that game. If you were over on the secondary channel, you saw our breakdown there of the NBA Cup semifinals. But in that game, pretty crazy stuff. Honestly, De'Aaron Fox, a good day out there despite going up against that Thunder defense. He had 22 points, 8 of 15 from the field, so good work there. Devin Vassell played really well, 23 points from him. Stephon Castle becoming a major big-time contributor for this team on a nightly basis. He had 22 points in his 34 minutes, 9 of 16 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. Very good work out there. He did have 6 turnovers, so there were some mistakes mixed in, but he played really well. Wemby came off the bench and was a huge difference maker, a massive, crazy, insane difference maker. He had 22 points in his 21 minutes, knocked down some huge shots, did miss a couple free throws there late, but overall played really well. Knocked down his only 3 and was a +21 out there as he alphas the Oklahoma City Thunder. His little comment there about the Spurs playing ethical hoops, that was pretty cool. I like that. Get the trash talk going, Wemby. You'll love to see it. So a great game there from the Spurs. They come into this one looking pretty healthy and ready to go. Wemby will still be on a minutes limit. There's a lot of debate right now whether they're going to start him or, do something similar to what they did, in the last game in the semifinal round there against the Thunder. I think either way could make some sense. I would lean a bit towards sitting him and bringing him in later, but we'll see what they actually end up doing. The Spurs, they come into this game healthy and ready to go. They're going to be taking on the Knicks here. Going to be interesting. They're 18-7 on the season. They're coming off a pretty comfortable 132-120 win there over the Magic. Let's keep in mind, though, both the Knicks NBA Cup games coming into the championship here were against very banged up opponents. They played the Raptors, who didn't have Emmanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett in that game, and then they played the Orlando Magic, who have Paolo Banchero on a minutes limit and no Franz Wagner. So a pretty easy path here to the NBA Cup championship there for the Knicks. I'm not saying they didn't play well. in those games, because they certainly did. OG Anunoby putting up a plus 14, 24-point performance. Cat had 29. Jalen Brunson dropped a 40-piece there on the Orlando Magic. So very, very good work there. All those guys played very heavy minutes, though. 40 minutes for OG, 37 for Cat, 43 minutes there for Miles Bridges, and 39 minutes there from Brunson. The reason they're having to do that is this bench is terrible. Really, really bad. The bench as a whole scored 11 points in that game. Mitchell Robinson, he had 9 boards, so, he's going in there and getting those boards, but you can't hardly keep him on the floor. He can't shoot free throws. So, I don't know. It's a bit of a mess. Clarkson only 2 points in 13 minutes off the pine. He didn't look good at all and is also a huge defensive liability. The Knicks maybe have some problems there. Obviously, once they get McBride back, that'll help, but it has not been an easy watch when it's the Knicks bench out there. So, we'll see what happens, see if that comes into play in this one. Miles McBride, Deuce McBride, he will not be back for this game, going to be reevaluated in another 3 or 4 days. We'll see when he eventually comes back. But right now, that bench is in bad shape. I mean, you're running a bench out there of Tyler Kolek, Jordan Clarkson, Josh Hart, who's also a starter, and Mitchell Robinson. There's a lot of Yabusele minutes mixed in that aren't looking great either, so a lot of holes in that Knicks bench. So we'll see what they can do in this one. They come into this game. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, guys. The Knicks are 2.5-point favorites in this game. And as we know, this is being played on a neutral court here. This is not a home game in Madison Square Garden there for the Knicks. This game is being played out there in Vegas. So we'll see what goes on. Did feel like the Knicks were a bit of a home team in their game against the Magic, but I don't think it's going to feel like that here against the Spurs. I think it's going to be a lot of San Antonio love, a lot of Wemby love out there. So I kind of feel like this is going to be closer to a road game for the Knicks than a home game. We've got a total of 229.5. The Spurs over the course of the season are 13, 10, and 2 against the spread. They're 14 and 11 to the over. The Knicks are 17 and 8 against the spread, a very good against the spread team. They are 13 and 12 to the over. Right off the bat here, I do like over 229.5. I do think we're going to see a little bit more of a high-scoring game in this one, but that's not my main lean here. My main lean, I'm going to take the Spurs getting 2.5 points. I feel like they're significantly the better team. They've got a lot of advantages here. I think if Wemby was going to play 30-plus minutes, that the Spurs would probably be the favorites in this game. I think the odds makers are giving the Knicks a little bit too much credit here and leaning a little bit too much on that Wemby is going to be playing limited minutes. But I think this is a great spot for the Spurs. I think they could win this game straight up. So you just take them on the money line if you wanted. If Wemby plays anywhere close to as good as he played last time out, I think that's going to be great. I think Brunson's going to have a lot of problems with the kind of defense that the Spurs are going to be able to play against him. So definitely think this is a great spot to back the San Antonio Spurs. We've also got some player props that we like for this game. And first up, speaking of Brunson, I'll take his under. I'll take under 29.5 points in this game for Brunson at minus 104. I don't think this is going to be a vintage Brunson night. The Spurs have some very long athletic defenders to throw at him. And, at his size, if Wemby's even in the game, if he's anywhere near the paint, he's going to be shutting down that, little Jalen Brunson pivot game pretty aggressively. And he's not even going to have to be that close. Like, he can block Brunson from just an insane distance. So he might be fine out there. He could play a decent game and still not end up with a 30-piece. So I'll take Brunson's under in this one. On the Spurs side, I'll take Wemby to get a double-double in this game. It's minus 145, so not a great price. Might not make the pinned comment, but I think we should jump on it. The Knicks defense isn't nearly as good as the Thunder, and Wemby, it was only a single rebound away from a double-double in that game. I expect him to be allowed to play maybe a couple more minutes in this one than he was against Oklahoma City. I think he is going to feast on the boards, and getting to double-digit scoring obviously shouldn't be a problem either. So definitely like Wemby here to get a double-double. On the Knicks side, I'll take Cat to have a little bit of a tougher performance in this one. I'll take him under 10.5 boards at plus 105. He's only been over this number in 3 of his last 5 games. Now being out there with the size and athleticism of the Spurs and with the insane length of Wemby at times, I think Cat might come up a little bit small here on the glass. Now this is another play. Seems like a long shot to make the pinned comment, but I do think it has some value, and I think the logic behind it at least holds up. We'll see. Rebounds, there's some luck involved there for sure, but I don't think Cat's going to have a monster day there on the glass. Our last prop for this game, I'll take De'Aaron Fox over 20.5 points here at minus 124. He ended up with 22 points there against Oklahoma City, and now with guys like Brunson or Josh Hart, or obviously Mikal Bridges is a premium defender on him, I think they're going to have a hard time staying in front of him, and good things are going to happen. Also, Fox has been shooting the ball well from 3 this season, so that doesn't hurt at all, especially with all the attention Wemby draws. That could lead Fox to have a few more open looks. So I definitely think him to get over 20.5 points here is very, very live. Hey guys, before we jump in and break down that college basketball slate here for Tuesday, we got to shout out the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, NFL, college football, and college basketball picks. We are on a 4-0 run over the last 2 days on premium college basketball action, so definitely a great time to hop in over there. Seems like our guy is on track and seeing the matrix over there on the college basketball side. It's a great time to dive in over there as a premium member at stumpthespread.com because there are so many sports going on right now. You get so many picks on a daily basis. You just get a crazy amount of bang for your buck right now. It's a good time to get in the mix over there. The results have been looking pretty decent, coming off a pretty good night. It's looking like the Steelers on the money line there as a 2-unit play is looking like pretty much a lock. They're up 28-9 with only 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Pistons plus 1.5, that came through as well. Still got some stuff cooking there on the NBA prop side, but a 2-0 night there on the college basketball action. Wyoming coming through with a solid win at minus 5.5, and East Texas A&M straight up winning, I believe, at plus 4. So a very good night out there. Still got some NHL stuff cooking, so we'll see how that goes. But right now, like I said, guys, it's a fantastic time to get in on the premium stuff at stumpthespread.com, but also get over there and check out all the free stuff. Just click that link down in the description to go to stumpthespread.com. Click on that free picks tab. You can check out all the free picks that get posted there every single day. You can use our free to use bet size calculator. That's over there. And you can also get on our free email newsletter. That email newsletter, guys, is a great resource. Every single day there will be parlays in there, free picks covering any of the major sports. It was a free NBA pick in there today, and it's just a great time to get after it over there on that email list. A ton of NFL touchdown props hit this weekend, so you want to make sure you get on that list so you don't miss out on the touchdown props for this coming weekend. It's just a fantastic resource. Also, there's information in there on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, any kind of crazy stuff you can imagine. UFC's in there. WNBA was in there a ton. I know WNBA season's over, but still, it's a great thing to be on that email list, and it's absolutely free. You get one email straight to your inbox every single day. So certainly get over there to stumpthespread.com and check out all the free stuff. Also, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe more importantly, they get access to our members only giveaways. We give away a Stump the Spread hoodie here every single Monday to one YouTube channel member. Put the name of every channel member in on a big wheel, spin it live on the video. Whoever it lands on gets a Stump the Spread hoodie of their size mailed straight to their address of choice. So definitely make sure you're hopping in there if you're interested. I'm a huge shout out to all my YouTube channel members over here, but let's go ahead and dive back in. We've got a pretty reasonable little college basketball slate here on Tuesday to cover. And first up, we're going to dive in. I promise no homer pick here. We're going to be looking at the Lipcomb Bisons as they go on the road to take on the number 3 Duke Blue Devils. Lipcomb hasn't had a terrible season to start the year, honestly. They're 6-4 overall, so above 500. They've currently won 5 straight games. No real major step-up opponents in those games. I mean, beating Western Carolina, Marshall, it's not a terrible win. Southeast Missouri, Tennessee Tech, and their last time out, they took down Alabama A&M 92-58, so a blowout win there for sure. The Bisons, not a team that relies a ton on, like crazy star power, but they can score the rock a little bit. They're not terrible on the boards necessarily, and their ball movement is great. I actually really like the way this team runs their offense. They share the ball pretty well. They don't depend too much on any one, major leading scorer. In their win over Alabama A&M, and not like the Alabama A&M Bulldogs are great or anything like that, but they stayed about even on the glass, but they shot the ball really well from 3, knocking down 10 out of their 26 attempts from long range. They also shot 60% from the field. So there's reason to like Lipscomb here as they go on the road to take on the Duke Blue Devils, who are 10-0 to start the year. Absolutely killing it. There have been some very close games mixed in there for sure. They're coming off that crazy 66-60 win over Michigan State. Now, something to think about, Duke has not played a basketball game since December 6th, and by my math, this game is going to be happening on December 16th. That is 10 days of rest. That's a lot of rest. Now, another concern that I've got here for Duke, and none of these concerns are about how good of a team they are. They're an amazing team. They're 48th in the nation in points per game, 26th in rebounding. They're giving up under 60 points per game. Like, Duke is elite. Cameron Boozer is a monster. Don't get me wrong, but this is a big look-ahead spot for Duke. Maybe not a massive one, but I'll say it's a big one because they've got Lipscomb, and then they take on number 19 Texas Tech there. I believe that game's on Saturday. It's on the 20th. So, I mean, that's a concern. Are they really going to be taking this Lipscomb team seriously? So looking at the numbers, Duke, they are 33.5 point favorites in this game. 33.5 points. I know they're playing at home. We had a total of 150.5. Lipscomb's 6-3 against the spread this year. They are 5-4 to the over. Duke, they are 7-3 against the spread. They are 9-1 to the under. So that tells you a little something. Duke, a team that tends to play some under games. The last time they played an opponent that was a big step down from them was Howard. They do win that game 93-56. So not exactly letting Howard stick around with them, I will say that. But this is a small lean, guys. This won't be in the pin comment, but I do like Lipscomb here getting 33.5. Next up, guys, we got the Toledo Rockets going on the road to take on the number 9 Michigan State Spartans. Now, this one is happening in East Lansing, and Toledo hasn't had the smoothest start to their year. They're 5-5 overall. They don't have any huge wins. I mean, they beat Troy. I guess that's a decent win, but their last time out, they lost by 5 against Robert Morris. They lost in a crazy 1-point game there against Oakland. So things have been a little bit up and down for Toledo. I mean, Sonny Wilson is a decent leading scorer, 16 points per game, shooting nearly 50% from the field. That's nice. They're around top 100 in the nation in points per game, but the defensive numbers and the rebounding all leave me very concerned. And against Robert Morris, I mean, things did not go their way. They were playing this one on the road, so I mean, cut them some slack there. They will be playing this game on the road as well, though. They shot 4 of 12 from 3. The fact they don't shoot a lot of threes is definitely a concern, and they got crushed on the board. So now they're about to go on the road to take on a just a little bit tougher of an opponent as they face off against the Michigan State Spartans. Now, Michigan State, they're 9-1 on the year. Their only loss was that 6-point loss against Duke. They're coming off a very close win there over Penn State on Saturday, a 76-72 win. Michigan State dominated this game. It was honestly a miracle it was anywhere near this close. The Spartans shot the lights out from 3 in this one. They dominated the boards 40-27. It just ended up being a very, very close game somehow down the stretch. So we'll see, if this scared them at all, if they're going to be a little bit more locked in for this game. Their season-long numbers obviously look amazing. They are 23.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 151.5. Toledo's 4-5 against the spread this year. They're 6-3 to the under. Michigan State, they're 5-5 against the spread. They are 7-3 to the under. Now, the Spartans do not have a look-ahead spot in this one. They play Toledo, then Oakland, then Cornell. I don't think they're scared of any of those opponents. So I do think we see the Spartans lock in and get the blowout winning cover here playing at home. Am I going to be taking a 23.5-point favorite as a pinned comment playing this spot? Probably not, but I do think the value is on the side of the Spartans. Next up, guys, we've got the marquee game of the day. We're looking at the number 11 Louisville Cardinals going on the road to take on number 20 Tennessee. Louisville, they come into this game 9-1 on the season. They will be headed to Knoxville to play this one, so a true road test. They took care of business against Memphis on Saturday, I believe that game was. They won 99-73, not letting the Tigers hang around. They also beat Indiana earlier this season. They took a 9-point loss against Arkansas, but that's their only loss of the year. This team has been excellent in that win over Memphis. Honestly, we liked what we saw up and down the roster. I mean, 3 double-digit scorers in the starting lineup, 3 double-digit scorers coming off the bench. They shot 51% from 3, making 18 out of 35 from long distance. They did a good job on the boards, limited the turnovers to some extent, although that was a little bit sloppy at times. But overall, a very, very good game there from Louisville. Now, this will be a step up in competition for sure. But I think Ryan Conwell and company can definitely handle it. I mean, they're 7th in the nation in scoring. It's pretty wild. Now, they're taking on a Tennessee team that's 7-3 on the season. They're actually riding a 3-game losing streak. They lost against Kansas by 5 points, lost by 2 points against Syracuse, and then lost by 13 against Illinois their last time out. That was a little bit of a head scratcher. Now, that game, I believe, was... that was played in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, so yeah, I can't really take too much away from not exactly a home court game, but, I mean, kind of. And they just not able to stay with Illinois there. And the Fighting Illini shot 40% from 3 against them. Tennessee only shot 30% from 3. They made only 8 out of their 18 free throws. That's a big concern. Tennessee did dominate the boards in this game, so that's something. But I did not love what I saw from Tennessee in that one. Their season-long numbers are also... room for concern, honestly. Like, the rebounding is great, the defense is okay, but the offense just doesn't really feel like it's there. And anytime Jacoby Gillespie isn't having a monster performance, all of a sudden this team is in bad shape. So, looking at the numbers, guys, the Volunteers are getting a 1.5. We've got a total of 157.5 in this game. Louisville is 7-3 against the spread this season. They're 6-4 to the over. Tennessee's 3-7 against the spread. They are also 6-4 to the over. So I honestly think over 157.5 could be very live in this game. I think both teams are going to get out and run a little bit. I'm not in love with either team defensively, so I think we could see a game with both teams scoring in the 80s in this one, but better than an overplay, guys. I'll just take the Louisville Cardinals here, either on the money line or -1.5. I think they are kind of the better team by a pretty big margin right now, and I think they're going to win this one comfortably, despite the fact they are playing on the road. Next up, guys, we've got Depaul, the Blue Demons. They're going on the road to take on number 22 St. John's. Depaul, they're 8-3 to start the year, so not having a terrible time. They're coming off a 61-58 win over Wichita State. They did lose to LSU, but they beat Georgia Tech. They lost to Northwestern. They also lost to Buffalo. That wasn't a great look, but Depaul's done more good things than bad things this season. At least I'll say that much for them. Haven't necessarily been monsters, but we did like some of what we saw against Wichita State. Not a very high-scoring game, but CJ Gunn putting up 18 points off the pine, and they shot 41% from three, albeit on pretty limited attempts. They did get out-rebounded in this spot, which is a concern. They're about to go up against a very, very tough opponent, but they played some good defense against Wichita State, and they do come away with the win, so I want to give them credit where credit is due. The season-long offensive numbers do leave room for concern, but their defense is good. Their ball movement on offense is nice. Rebounding, though, is a huge concern for me, especially going on the road to take on the Red Storm. Now, St. John's, playing St. John's in Queens is a little bit rough. They are only 6-3 on the year, but their losses came against number 15 Alabama. They came against number 15 Iowa State by 1 point, and they came against number 21 Auburn in a pretty competitive game as well. They knocked off Ole Miss. They knocked off Iona their last time out, a 91-64 win in that game, and things are starting to point in the right direction here for St. John's. I mean, in that game, they shot 38% from three. They knocked down 21 of their 25 free throws. They dominated the boards. Now, they had 21 turnovers in that game, which is part of the reason Iona was able to hang around for a little bit, but in the end, they end up putting them away pretty comfortably. So I'm not too worried about that. Some carelessness kicking in there at the end of the game certainly was a bit of a concern, but over the course of the season, they're excellent. They're in the top 30 in the nation in points per game. Their rebounding numbers are fine. Their defense, I think, is pretty decent overall. So looking at the numbers, guys, they are 17.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 152.5. DePaul's 6-4-1 against the spread. They're 7-4 to the under. St. John's is 5-3 against the spread. They are 5-3 to the under. This is a little bit of a tough spot. I think under 152.5 is a reasonable play in this game, but maybe better than that. I kind of like DePaul getting 17.5 points. Probably wait until closer to game time. You can probably get this one up to like 18.5, 19 points, but I do think that the Blue Demons find a way to keep this game pretty competitive. Next on the docket, we've got an NBC showdown. We've got a Missouri Valley Conference game between the Belmont Bruins and the Evansville Purple Aces. Now, Belmont, they're 10-1 to start the year, playing very, very well. No major step-up opponents, I will say that. They did lose to Richmond, but they beat UIC their last time out in a 3-point game, so obviously a very, very close one there in their first Missouri Valley game, but they're 1-0 to start conference play, so you can't say too many bad things about that. Over the course of the season, we've liked what we've seen from Tyler Lundblade. He's played well, almost 16 points per game. Nick McLean averaging almost 7 assists per game. They're a good rebounding team. They're a decent defensive team, and that offense is certainly working. But the question is, what will they look like in this one, playing on the road in a conference game? They're going on the road to take on the Evansville Purple Aces, who are only 4-7 on the year. They've played some more reasonable competition this season, though. They played Notre Dame. Not that game went very well their last time out. They did lose 82-58, but still, going up against some better teams. They beat Oregon State. They played against Akron, but that didn't go great either. The wins have been few and far between, and I mean, 2 out of their 4 wins came against non-Division I opponents. They've also played Purdue, like they opened their season against Purdue, so this squad has played kind of the best out there. Now, they haven't had great results, but maybe they've gotten some help from being exposed to elite opponents. They are averaging only 69 points per game, so not great. The defense hasn't looked good either, but they really haven't played that many teams on their own level. Now, is Belmont really on their level? We'll have to wait and see. The Purple Aces are getting 9.5 or 10.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 151.5. Belmont's 5-4-1 against the spread. They are 6-4 to the under. Evansville is 5-4 against the spread. They are 5-3-1 to the over. Guys, I'm going to be taking the Purple Aces here, getting 10.5 points. Does this feel great? No, it doesn't feel great to be backing a team that's as mediocre as Evansville. But I think in their first conference game of the season, they're going to be playing at home. I think they find a way to make this one very, very competitive. Win or lose, I think the 10.5 points are the side you want. Rolling along here, guys, we've got the Kansas City Roos going on the road to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, Kansas City's only 2-9 on the season, and both their wins came against non-Division I opponents. So it's been pretty bleak. They haven't had any great luck in their step-up games, getting blown out by TCU, getting blown out by Texas. But they also haven't done well against some weaker opponents, like they lost against Weber State 64-60. So we'll see what they're able to do in this one. They are going on the road to play in a pretty hostile environment, and that's a little bit troubling. They are also 369th in the nation in points per game and around 300th in rebounding, so not a team that spent a lot of time playing opponents that are at their own level. We'll see what they do out in the Summit this year, but things are not looking too good right now. They're going on the road to play a big step-up game as they take on the Oklahoma Sooners, who at 7-3 on the season have had some ups and downs. Now, their losses are pretty explainable. I mean, they lost to number 21 Gonzaga, who's looking like one of the best teams in the nation. They lost to Nebraska. Nebraska team is looking very, very good. They lost to Arizona State. That one looks a little bit less good, but they did come up with the 85-76 win against Oklahoma State their last time out. They beat Marquette, so they've done some good things. Maybe they're getting back on track. Nigel Pack leading the team, 17 points per game, nearly 50% from the field. Nothing too bad there. They're in the top 70 in points per game. They're in the top 100 in total rebounding. I do worry a little bit about the defensive numbers, but we'll see if that even matters here as they're playing a terrible, terrible opponent. Now, the question here is, can they really, really blow out a team? Are they motivated to do that? Well, no look-ahead spot, so that's nice. They're 28.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 152.5. Kansas City's only 2-7 against the spread. They are 6-3 to the under. Oklahoma is 3-6-1 against the spread. They are 7-3 to the under. Guys, I think we see Oklahoma use this as a bit of a get-right spot. I think they're going a little run here, put up some big, big numbers, and get the blowout win and cover in this one. Now, have we seen them win by 30 points a lot this season? Not necessarily, but I do think this could be one of those times where they really, really just separate themselves. Even the bottom of the roster there for Oklahoma is going to be dominated in Kansas City Roos. Cruising through these games, we're looking at the Ryder Broncos going on the road to take on the Delaware Blue Hens. Now, Ryder, it's been rough. They're 1-8 on the season. Their only win was over Eastern. They've gotten blown out by Virginia, by Rutgers, by Texas. Got more than doubled up by number 2 Houston. Their last time out, they lost 51-38. They scored 38 points in a college basketball game against Bucknell. Not a great look. In that game, Ryder, I mean, they did not have a double-digit score. They went 3 of 13 from 3. They went 3 of 9 from the free throw line. They lost the rebounding battle. They were just terrible. And that's against a Bucknell Bison's team that is 3-9 on the year. Not a good look for Ryder. They're actually one of the worst teams in college basketball right now. They're 500th in the nation in points per game. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Delaware Blue Hens, who haven't been having a picnic themselves. They're 3-7 on the season. They're coming off a 88-66 loss there against CSU Northridge. They did beat George Washington the other day, so they've shown a little bit of fight. They beat St. Peter's as well, so maybe they can bounce back a little bit. This team is not great, don't get me wrong, so asking them to win a game by double digits might be a little bit much, but we'll see. I have liked what I've seen from Kristen Bliss so far this season. Although his shooting numbers aren't super efficient, he's also handing out 6.5 assists per game. That's a point in the positive column. Now, looking at the numbers for this one, Delaware, they're 9.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 131.5. Ryder is 1-6-1 against the spread. They are 6-2 to the under. Delaware is 4-5 against the spread. They are 5-4 to the under. I will take Delaware here at home -9.5. It's a little bit much for to ask Delaware to cover that kind of number, but Ryder here playing on the road. They've been so bad this season. Maybe it's a bounce back spot after such a horrendous showing their last time on the floor, but I'm not buying it. I think Delaware's a little bit better here, and I think they get a double-digit win. Next up, guys, looking at a little bit more interesting of a game, we've got the Florida State Seminoles going on the road to take on the Dayton Flyers. Now, Florida State, they're 5-5 on the year. Could be looking at kind of a tough ACC, conference schedule here coming up before too long, because in their step-up games this year, it's been pretty rough. They did have that crazy 2-point loss there against Florida, but since getting back to playing real teams, they got blown out by Texas A&M. They got blown out by Georgia. They got blown out. Well, kind of. They lost by 15 there against number 8 Houston. And their last time out, a 103-95 loss against UMass. That's not a team you're supposed to necessarily be losing to if you're Florida State. Now, in that game, they shot only 29% from 3, shot 41 threes, only made 12 of them. They kept things basically even on the boards. They turned the ball over 12 times. Didn't really love anything we saw from anybody out there except for Robert McCray V. He played well, but other than that, it was a little bit bleak. So we'll see if they've got a bounce back in them. Their offensive numbers look good, but their rebounding and their defense are absolutely atrocious. And they're going to have to figure something out here as they go on the road to take on Dayton. The Flyers, they're 8-3 on the season. They've played some good teams this year. They did lose to Cincinnati, but they beat Marquette. They beat Georgetown. They played a very, very competitive game against number 8 BYU. They could have won that one. They lose to Virginia. Their last time out, they got a blowout win over North Florida, but that was, kind of a foregone conclusion kind of game. The rebounding numbers are a concern. Their defense hasn't looked as good as it has in the past, but they did do some positive stuff there against a terrible North Florida team, although they didn't shoot the ball particularly well and still won by 23 points. So that's something to keep in mind in this one. They are playing at home. They are 6.5-point favorites. We've got a total here of 164. Florida State's 5-5 against the spread, and they're 6-4 to the under. Dayton is 5-6 against the spread. They're 6-5 to the under. So with a total here of 164, we could look a bit at under. The concern here would be that Florida State has some monster bounce back shooting night. But regardless, guys, I'm going to want to back Dayton here -6.5. I think playing at home, they're going to have a good time against the Florida State Seminoles team that just is getting this much respect from the odds makers based on name recognition alone. They're really not that good. Next on the dock, we're looking at a little SEC versus ACC matchup. We've got the South Carolina Gamecocks going on the road to take on the Clemson Tigers there. Now, South Carolina, they're 7-3 on the year. Not the smoothest sailing, honestly, when playing anybody decent. They've lost to Butler. They lost to Northwestern. They lost to Virginia Tech. They really haven't beaten any power conference opponents unless I'm missing something, and it's been pretty rough. They did get the 71-55 win over the Citadel their last time out, but I've not liked very much from this team. Their offensive numbers are okay, but their rebounding's terrible. Their defense isn't great. Definitely not great against anybody good. I mean, they played Virginia Tech and gave up 86 points. It's been pretty rough sledding so far for the Gamecocks. Now, Clemson, on the other hand, has definitely done some good stuff. They're 8-3 on the year. They've beaten West Virginia. They've beaten Georgia. They lost a very close one against Georgetown. They played a super competitive, actually back-to-back crazy competitive games there, losing to Alabama. Number 12 Alabama, losing that game by 6, and losing by 3 against BYU. This is a spot for them to potentially get off to a, get a decent little win on the roster and, get a little bit pointed back in the right direction. Their offense has been fine this year. Their rebounding is elite. The defense is very, very good. And they put up some good numbers against some very, very solid opponents. So looking at the numbers for this game, Clemson here playing at home, they're 12.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 139.5. South Carolina's only 4-6 against the spread this year. They're 5-4-1 to the over. Clemson's 6-4 against the spread. They're a 500 over-under team. I'm going to take Clemson at home. 12.5 is a lot of points, don't get me wrong, but this team definitely has the personnel to cover that number. They also, a little bit of offense by committee. I don't think that hurts too much in the spot where you are a big favorite. I think they can win this game very, very comfortably, especially in front of the home court fans. Next on the docket, we've got Florida International going on the road to take on the Miami Hurricanes. Now, Florida International, the Panthers, they're 5-3. We'll see what they can do out in the Conference USA this season. So far this year, it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. They have played some really terrible teams. They got blown out by 30 against Nebraska, got blown out there against LSU. They've won, at least 2 non-Division I games. They lost to James Madison. They beat Omaha, Florida Gulf Coast in a close game, and Jacksonville. So not exactly a team that's been killing it. Not a team that's been impressing me too much. They do have a decent leading scorer there in Corey Stevenson, but over the course of the season, guys, they've played nobody good, at least nobody good that they've made any sort of positive impression against, and their defensive numbers are real bad. Real bad. So going on the road to take on a real opponent here could be a bit of a big ask. They're going up against the Miami Hurricanes, who at 9-2 on the season are a little bit down from where they wanted to be, thanks in part to a loss against number 10 Florida and a competitive loss against number 9 BYU. They've beaten Georgetown, they've beaten Ole Miss, they've beaten Southern Miss, and they beat UL Monroe there by, 25 points or something like that. So, yeah, they're playing well right now for sure. Malik Renault is a monster, 20 points per game, shooting 57% from the field. This squad has a ton of talent. I mean, Trey Donaldson, 6.5 assists, and 15 points per game. They're 18th in the nation in assists. They are 43rd in total offense. They're allowing only 66 points per game. This team plays some very, very real defense. So there's a lot to like about Miami. They've been playing great. Their last 2 games were against pretty weak opponents, and both were blowouts. They also do not have any sort of look-ahead spot here brewing. So looking at the numbers, Miami, they're 23.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 156.5. Florida International is 4-2 against the spread. They're also 4-2 to the over. Miami's 6-4 against the spread and 6-4 to the over. You could maybe talk me into over 154.5 or 156.5 in this game. I don't think that's crazy, but just as good as that, at least, I like Miami to get a blowout winning cover. I think they win this game by 30 plus. I don't think they're going to mess around here at home. They've been winning these games walking away. I think they probably win this game by 28, 29 points, especially in front of the home court fans. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles going on the road to take on the Missouri State Bears. Oral Roberts is 5-7 on the year. They have won their last 2 in a row. Their last one was a non-Division I opponent, but they knocked off Montana State. They've beaten Kennesaw State this year as well. Lost to Oklahoma, lost to Belmont, lost to Tulsa in a close one. Also lost to Oklahoma State to open their year. This isn't a team that I'm nuts about necessarily, but Ty Harper, 16 points per game, not too shabby. The rebounding numbers are concerning though, and their defense has been pretty bad. So we'll see what they do on the road. Take it on the Missouri State Bears out there in the Conference USA. So it'll be interesting to see, Summit versus Conference USA matchup. Missouri State has not looked good. They're coming off a 75-57 loss there at Xavier. They got blown out by Tulsa, so there's an opponent in common that did not go well for the Missouri State Bears. I don't see a ton on this roster that I love, if I'm being honest. The defensive numbers are bad. The rebounding numbers are atrocious. They haven't done well in any sort of step-up spots. They haven't had any major step-up spots this year, except for, I guess, Xavier, and that was a blowout. So, not loving a lot about Missouri State. And for some reason, they're 5.5-point favorites in this game. I guess it's because they're playing at home. We've got a total of 147.5. Oral Roberts is 5-4 against the spread and 5-4 to the over. Missouri State is 2-4 against the spread and 4-2 to the under. Guys, give me Oral Roberts here getting 5.5 points. It's just too many. It's just too many points. I don't even know if they should be favored. The atmosphere is not that electric anymore there at the Great Southern Bank Arena for Missouri State. So, I think we see Oral Roberts have a chance to win this game straight up, but I'll just go ahead and take the 5.5 points to be safe. Last but not least, in probably the second biggest game here on the college basketball slate, we've got the Butler Bulldogs going on the road to take on the UConn Huskies. Now, Butler, they're 8-2 on the season. They're coming off a nice, but albeit crazy close win there over Providence. They've beaten Virginia this year. They've beaten South Carolina. They lost to SMU, and they also lost to Boise State, 77-68. So this team has definitely had their problems. Finley Bizjack, 18, almost 19 points per game. That looks great in that crazy double overtime game there against the Friars, where they do eventually come out on top. They put up some big numbers, 10 of 28 from 3, 27 of 38 from the free throw line, though, was really the difference maker. They shot 20 more free throws there than Providence did, and I don't think they can count on getting that friendly of a whistle as they play on the road against the number 5 UConn Huskies, who have been pretty crazy this year. Their only loss was against number 4 Arizona, who's looking like one of the best teams in the nation. They beat number 13 Illinois. They beat number 21 Kansas. They beat number 18 Florida. And their last time out, they got a 71-63 win there over the Texas Longhorns. So things have definitely been going well. This is one of the best defensive and offensive teams in the nation in that win over Texas. A lot of positives, honestly. Didn't play as great in the second half necessarily, but really shot the ball very reasonably. 6 of 16 from 3. Not a team that relies a ton on the 3. They did get out rebounded by 2, but that did not come back to bite them. We saw 3 double-digit scores there in the starting lineup. This is a very, very good, very well-rounded team. But something that's a little bit concerning here, they're 15.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 149.5. Butler is 7-3 against the spread. They're 5-4-1 to the under. UConn, they're 4-7 against the spread, and they're 7-4 to the under as well. With teams showing trends towards the under, maybe take under 149.5 in this spot. I don't think that's an insane idea, but I do think we have to lean towards Butler and the points. I don't love doing that. I don't love fading UConn here, especially playing at home, but Butler does play some close games. They've got some talent on that roster, and keeping it within 15.5, I don't think UConn cares that much about blowing teams out. I think they just want to make sure they get the win and go ahead and move on. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com. Check out the premium picks over there. Check out the free picks over there. Check out everything we offer. Make sure you're getting on that free email list. Also, make sure you're getting on that email list for real. That's a great, great resource. And we'll see you guys right back here tomorrow. Same time, same place for more sports betting action.